much more a part of who I am. I always get laughs when I say this name, but what the heck. When I was in high school, I became a huge fan of Barry Manilow. I can't explain it. He was kind of dopey looking, but he was an amazing musician. And he didn't have an amazing, fantastic, skyrocketing voice. He was just a simple guy. And he sang these songs that he wrote, and there was something special about that. There was something special about the combination of composing and singing stuff that you created. And my mom played the piano in church, and I never took any piano lessons, but I really loved the way he played and sang. So when I was 17 years old, I was going to a private school in South Carolina, and I had a friend named Jay. And Jay was a big Barry Manilow fan too, but Jay played the piano. Jay'd been taking piano lessons since he was very young. So he and I got together one day at lunch and we're like, hey, let's write a Barry Manilow song. And he goes, I'll write the music, I'll make up the music, and then I'll give it to you on a cassette and you write the lyrics. I'm like, yes, this will be awesome. So he recorded himself playing this song. I can still hear it. It's very scary. And some people call that a nightmare. And I lived in the dormitories, okay, at this school. So he gave me this cassette tape, and I listened to it nonstop. I got it really digested into my mind. One day, I'm walking through the campus, and I come across what you probably have here in your music area, little practice studios, little teeny rooms with pianos in them to practice for the piano majors or whatever. So I went in. Mind you, I don't play the piano. I went in, and I sat down at this piano. And I watched my mom play the piano my whole life, but I don't play, never took any lessons. So I'm sitting there, and and then I started thinking of the song that he and I were working on. Before I knew it, I had worked out the song exactly the way he played it. I could play it exactly the way he played it. Couldn't do anything else. I didn't know what I was doing. I heard it and I learned it. So one day I'm playing our song, which was called It's Too Late. That was the name of the song. It was so cheesy, you guys. Even Barry Manilow wouldn't touch this song. It was Velveeta World, all right? Very cheesy. You throw a little macaroni, you got a meal. It was so bad. I still remember it. It went like this. It goes, I recall the time when you and I were together and the sun shone bright on our love. And then the chorus was like, I know that it's too late for love. Okay, so that's where the hook is, right? It's too late. Okay, anyway. So I'm playing our little It's Too Late song, all I know. And all of a sudden, one day, I displaced a finger by accident. I was like, that's cool. That sounds totally cool. I don't know what I just did, but I like it. So the next thing I know, I'm like, well, okay, that sounds like maybe from there it would go to here. Before I knew it, I'd made up my own song. Still didn't know what I was doing. Didn't know what I was playing. I just knew it sounded neat. I was still in high school. I was 17. And I lived with college guys in the dormitories. I was going to a kind of a college prep school that was on campus with a major university. So I lived with college guys, and I was the little punk they beat up on, you know. I was the high school punk kid, academy kid, and they were the big, smart university guys. And so I had a friend who was a music major in college. You know, he knew it all, right? He knew all about music. So I took him with me. I'm like, hey, Paul, you want to hear a song I wrote? And he's like, okay. So we go to the piano studio, and I'm like, I played this song. And while I was playing it, he would stand behind me like this. And right in the middle of the song, he'd go, "That's an A minor." And I would be like, "What?" And I said, "Why? Well, A minor, what's that mean?" He goes, "Well, you see, your root is A, note A. See, that's C, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, A, that's you, A is your root. And then the third note in the chromatic scale of A is flatted. If it were not flatted, it would be a major, but because you flatted, it's a minor, A minor." And I'm like, "Oh. So, this would be a C minor." And he goes, "Right." I keep playing my song. He goes, "Oh, that's an E sus4. What? What is that?" Well, you see, the fourth note is suspended. It wants to resolve. You hear it wanting to resolve to the third, but it's suspended. It's a sus4 is the note that's suspended. So I'm soaking this in like a sponge, you guys. And again, all credit to God. I didn't take any lessons, but I just understood it. I mean, it was so simple and obvious. The next thing I know, I could play anything I ever heard. And I could play it in any key. And then I would listen to the radio, and I'd walk over and sit down and play it. I could see the chord progressions. You know what I mean? Now, I mean, I could sit here with a tablet of paper, and you could play a song, and I could listen to it, and I'd say, "Pick a key signature." And you'd say B flat, and I'd go, "Okay, well then that's an E flat, G minor, A minor 7, but it's just from having done it though. But it's just from developing and really soaking in the knowledge that other people had already. And I say that to you as encouragement. On a school campus, there's tons of knowledge flying around here, and you guys are going to find something you enjoy, and you've been given a natural ability, a natural affinity for it. It clicks with you. You get it. You like it. You understand it. You all have those talents, wherever they are, in whatever area they're in, and this is a perfect place to soak up a lot of great knowledge. So 17 and 18, 19 years old were really pivotal years for me musically. By the time I was 19, I'd written 9 or 10 songs, and I wanted to record them. So I took a break from school, and I hired my uncle was a music minister at a big church in Denver, Colorado. And he had a guy in his church that owned a recording studio. And he's like, "Vic, if you want to come out here, the guy will cut you a good break on studio time, the rates, and you could hire a guitar player and hire a drummer." And I would play the piano and the keyboards and do the vocals. So I did that. Back in I'm not going to tell you, my gosh, I almost screwed up big, didn't I? I almost told you how old I was right there. A long time ago. Reagan was president. So I recorded these 10 songs, and then I went back to school, and I just kept doing what I'm doing. Kept writing songs, kept learning, kept transcribing music, like, learning to write it out, score it out on paper, kept singing, kept recording. Probably the biggest claim to fame, if there is one, I don't know if any of you have ever heard of a Christian band called DC Talk. Well, I produced their first album. They were friends of mine in college. In fact, I was a couple of years older than they were. I had just graduated, and they came to me one day and said, "Hey Vic, Toby wrote these raps, these Christian raps, and he wants to do a demo album. Can you help him?" And so I took him to this studio in New Jersey that I recorded a lot at. I produced a lot of the songs, helped him rewrite some of the songs, sang on some of them, played some instruments on some of them, and the demo album that I created for them got signed as their first album. I mean, the record company bought it, signed them, and released the demo album as their first album. Didn't change one note. Just put a new package on it and released it. Since then, I've written tons of songs. When I moved to Houston, I started writing music for picture, like commercial music, theme songs, scoring for documentaries, which is very different than vocal music. There's a track on